This is a great time to shoot this kind of videos because I'm in between projects and the workshop is nice and tidy, which doesn't happen very often, and it's probably gonna last for the next 24 hours or so. So let me show you around a little bit. So me and my wife moved into this property in 2021, pretty much during COVID, and it was one of the best choices of our lives because it gave us so much room and so much contact with nature, which we really wanted. One thing I knew I needed was a workshop, and this building here was a very shoddy and old concrete garage. So I was always going to convert it into a workshop. What I didn't know at the time is that my good friends at Buono Prismontas, who are brilliant architects, decided to help me out redesigning this building completely and giving it a brand new roof, which turned this into the Geek Barn and actually ended up being published in many architectural magazines all around the world. Can you believe that? One thing we didn't change though was the footprint, and this is a two-car garage, a UK two-car garage, not an American one, so it's not the size of Ireland, it's only 5 by 6 meters or 30 square meters, which AI tells me that in Imperial equals to 3/16 of a goat and 5 apples. Needless to say, this forced me to get very creative about where I was placing things and what. It took me several iterations, and I think during these 3 years since I've been here, I changed the layout probably 5 or 6 times completely. But I have to say, nobody's ever happy with this workshop, and there's probably gonna be a few more changes in the future, but I am pretty happy with what I got at the minute. One of the things that strikes the eyes when you get into this place is definitely the height of the roof and its shape, and I really appreciate the height because anytime I have to handle things that are very long or very large, I don't need to negotiate with the ceiling. The core of my workshop is definitely the table saw, and I wanted to fit in here the biggest possibly one I could have, which happened to be a Laguna Fusion 2, which is a very good machine. Problem is that because of the size of this workshop, I don't necessarily have a lot of room on the back or at the front. And one way to solve this issue is having this large door at the back, which effectively acts as an extension of the workshop. I don't open it very often, but on the other hand, especially in summer, it gives me a great opportunity to refresh the air, get some breeze, and also procrastinate a little bit with the great views I got at the other side. Now, because it's made of timber, and because space is really scarce in here, this also became my interactive wall of accessories. I have all the table saw accessories here, some of the stuff for the track saw, and all my bench docks, and it's also where I keep my very large and heavy miter sled, which pops out of the wall and gets straight onto the saw whenever necessary. Now, speaking of extraction, table saws generally sucks. And this is not exception, but I wanted my cheap extractor to be outside of the workshop because I really cannot stand the noise, and I also needed the table saw to be in front of the door, which is on this other side of the workshop. So the ducting needs to go across the roof all the way to the other side of the workshop, and that really had a bad impact on my ability to extract dust, and for this reason I built this cheap separator box, which is doing a brilliant job, except I didn't open it yet, so I don't know how much stuff is in there, and I may also often forget about turning on the extractor, but you know, it is what it is. The chip extractor is just behind this wall, and all I have to do to activate it is press on this little remote. And it still does make a little noise, but it's nothing like having it just next to your ear. Enough now. Moving forward, we find my outfit table, and this is a bit of a sore spot for me. I had some brilliant ideas of things that I wanted to integrate, and none of them really worked. So much so that I not only didn't edit the video, but I also decided to delete the footage because I didn't want it to waste space on my hard drive. The bottom part I'm actually very happy with. I got 2 metal cabinets that I have just repainted and integrated into the design, and that's a lot of storage space for all my different things, and they got labels so I can find stuff. And then I have these very large drawers in the middle, which I invested in shadow foam. Is it called shadow foam? I don't know. It's not sponsored, but I have to say it is a brilliant product, and not just for people with OCD who want everything to be in the right place, but also for people very messy like me, because knowing where everything goes, it's invaluable. And I have all my tools nicely laid out, and I know exactly when something is missing, even though it might take me weeks at times to find it again. I also have my larger tools here, so this is my fast tool drawer, and my less precious and a bit more messy storage with Makita stuff and other accessories. One thing that really didn't work is the top, and this was the one element that started the whole idea of this little project. That's why I'm so upset about it. You see, there was a time where I was very maniac about sharpening. I wanted to learn all about it, and I wanted to be able to sharpen things to perfection. And for this reason, one night, very late, while I couldn't quite sleep, I decided to shop around for a big, thick floating glass, and I really misjudged the size and the weight of this thing until it arrived, and that gave me the idea of creating a permanent sharpening station, because there was no way I could move this monster of a glass around the workshop whenever I needed it. And so the idea was to be able to lift the top of this table and reveal this sharpening station and then flip it back down. And after 5 or 6 or 7 failed attempts and loads of hardware that I bought and didn't quite work, I came up with the final solution, which wasn't the perfect solution, was just the one that I settled for, and that required me to split the top in 2 parts. The first one had to come up in order for the second one to flip up, just like this. And here it is, my wonderful piece of glass for sharpening. The problem is, it doesn't quite work for 2 main reasons. The first is that to close back, it needs to push back even farther, and I didn't allow for enough off-run for that. So I need to kick it until it decides to go back in place. And the second is that no matter how much reinforcement I added to the bottom of this, it still flexes a little bit. So whenever I use it as an outfit table, which is the main concern, it doesn't quite work. Things might get stuck on the top surface, and that's really far from ideal. Yeah, I think at some point I will have to do something about this top. I think I will convert the bottom into a drawer that comes out, and I will make the top permanent and flat. I'm not done with you. Moving to this side, we find the bandsaw. I tried initially to get one of those small ones, but it really wasn't cutting it for me. And then the router table, which I built myself, and it was originally in a different spot, and that's why it's got drawers on this side, which are not very easily accessible, but I still can use them. I think I'll be fine with it for a while, at least. I'm not planning to make a new one. Here at the back is where I keep all my paints and stains and few other bits and bobs and tools that are scattered everywhere. And this is my little painting booth, which has extraction going straight at the back, and it just activates from here, and it's very quiet. Forgive me for the mess, but just below the spray booth I created this little storage where I keep my old silent compressor, which I use for my airbrush. Problem is that it was too small to cope with the big spray gun, and I was struggling painting bigger jobs. So very recently I also had to add another full-size compressor on this side, which is connected to my spray equipment over here. This is a tiny but brilliant setup. I use it for spray painting, I use it for spray mounting, and I use it for soldering as well, because I got extractions anyway. I think actually these kind of booths were mainly engineered for airbrushing and soldering, so it's not really meant to be used for heavy spraying, and I am struggling a little bit with spray cans. I'm probably gonna have to increase the power of the extraction at some point, but for the time being I kind of managed to use it, and I still wear my respirator obviously anytime I have to do something that is more heavy duty. And moving forward, there's a section that you're probably more familiar with if you follow my channel, because this is the backdrop to most of my videos. I have a plan to make it a bit nicer at some point, but for the time being this is mainly my miter saw station. It's not fancy, but it's perfectly functional, it's nice and flush, it's long enough, and it's got a rail here which allows me to place a stop for repeat cuts. The Festool miter saw has been a fantastic piece of kit, especially once I figured out how to optimize extraction, and it's got his own little extractor down here. Is a small Festool, and it's also where I keep a lot of stuff. All the other stuff that I keep here is basically storage. I got drawers here. This is all a bit looking shoddy because this is the part that I changed the most. I mean, this miter saw station has basically moved from one corner to the other at least 3 times, and this is its final position, and I kept using the same cabinets by chopping them and reassembling them different times, and that's why it's all looking a bit shoddy compared to my very first video where it was all nice and tidy. I mean, I thought at the time that it was a good idea to get a fantastic workshop, and little I knew that things change over time. I mean, one definite issue with being a maker is that we do need a lot of different tools for different things. It's not just a specialized workshop that only focuses on one particular trade. We have a bit of everything, and we also produce a lot of stuff, or as my wife calls it, the "why can't I just buy it from IKEA" stuff. And so inevitably we have to shift things around every now and then because there's new things coming and other things that we stop using, at least for a while, because we don't throw anything away anyway. Bang in the middle of this section sits my MFT bench. This is a bench that I built myself. It's got storage underneath. It is obviously on casters because it needs to move around, and it's been serving me well, and it's been going through several projects, as you can tell by the condition of the worktop. On the other hand, I think that as much as I love MFT, it's great for holding things down, but the accessories for it are not so great at holding things sideways, especially when it comes to planing, when you need a very shallow surface. And what is missing is bench vices on the sides, which is something that I'm probably going to add at some point, or I will redesign the whole thing. I'm not quite sure yet. I just can't commit to the time, money and effort that goes into building a proper workshop bench. So I think until this works for me, I'll just stick with it. Just in front of my office is a brand new addition to my workshop, which is a photographic background. This is really going to help me out photographing larger projects, but I literally just installed it the other day, so I haven't had a chance to use it yet. And I have to do with what I got at the moment. And behind this door, just next to the great and only Peter Mayhew, also known as Chewbacca, is my little office, or as I call it, my hamster nest. This is where I edit my videos, where I do all my designs, and where I keep bits and bobs of all my past and present projects, and also all my toys and my inspiration, like the drawings by the amazing Mark Ratz, who's a friend of mine, and he's an incredible artist that you should definitely check out. And also my picture with Mark Hamill from the 90s when we were both young and beautiful. Well, I was at least. And last and probably least part of my workshop is a place where I don't necessarily come very often and is usually a big mess, but it's where I got my scrap rack, which you might recognize from one of my previous videos, and this bench, which is housing the thickness planer just underneath it. This is where I have all my screws, all my drills and bits and bobs, the bench drill, which I hesitated a long time before buying it, but at the end of the day I'm quite happy that I decided to go for it, and also my sensors here at the back. There is some more storage under here, a lot of rubbish behind there that I'm not going to show you, a oven that I'm using very seldomly but is very useful for heating up molds and anneal perspex and other stuff. Trust me, I don't cook in there. And also a small vacuum down there that actually serves the sanders. This bench is a bit on the tall side, so it's usually fine to work and I can see what I'm doing, but just in case I cannot quite manage, then I help myself with a little stool. And if that made your health and safety inspector have a fit, then look how I access the loft up there. No! Speaking of which, that's the very last space of my workshop. It's where I store old boxes and all the junk. I have the collector's bag, which means that I keep the boxes of pretty much any piece of machinery and equipment that I buy, and they're all stored up there. So my dream of having further working space in that place is vanished completely because of the size of some of those boxes. Something I'm quite proud of is that because I have a high ceiling, it will be quite challenging to have lights covering adequately everything. Either they will have to be very tall, or I will need loads and loads of them on the different spots of the wall. So I created these contraptions using a TV bracket and a boom stand, and I can move them pretty much anywhere I want and at any angle. And I got two of them either side, oopsie. And the nice thing is that they are plugged into smart plugs, so I just need to talk to my digital assistant to turn them on and off. Well, this is the end of the tour. I mean, it's only 30 square meters. What did you expect? 3 hours commentary? Obviously not. Thank you for coming. Come back, please. And please subscribe so you can stay up to date with all my uploads and see all the stuff that I make. Until then, I'll see you next time. Alexa, studio off.